We start everything. There she is. Celina, how are you doing?
I am so good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. You can hear me clearly. Everything's good?
No, man, we're good.
All right, all right. Wagwan. Everything Chris then. Everything all right.
Chris, everything
all
curry,
right.
everything ready.
Listen. All right, for those I have people
or like we don't have to curry it, we can jerk it, we can
jerk it.
Season, as long as we're seasoning it.
Everything, yeah, it must have a seasoning. It must have a seasoning.
You know,
all
I've
right,
seen these
real
people
talk.
who cook like on their countertop and stuff. I'm like, what?
No, we're not that on that. We're not that on that. We're not that on that. Listen, for those, listen, you see, I was just talking, giving you a great build-up because, boy, may I tell you, what I've studied that you've gone through, I tip my hat to you. I salute you. I'm in love with your, you know, your whole aura. I'm in love with it. You are a dream, a gem, and such. I would hope by the end of this that even every male and every female goes and buys your book because it is such a inspiration to all this world.
Thank you.
It is really.
Oh, I'm getting love. I'm getting hearts. I'm getting love.
Yeah, of course. This is. Listen. Now we may not have the bright lights and everything are going, but guess what? The voice of the ghetto, as they call me, we expand around the world. We have people from Germany, New York in here today. We have people from Kenya, Toronto, everywhere around the world logging in, and it's such a good feeling. You know what?
Before we go any further, though, we just got to give mad love to anyone who's out there who's like battling with COVID, who's battling with their this thing is it's global, it's worldwide, and honestly, just keep yourself safe out there.
There you have it from a lady who is a dominant force in this world.
London. Well,
there you go.
We worldwide. I should have I should have put on a big time outfit.
Celina, don't worry yourself. The braids them do up. The braids them do up. Everything do. Everything do up.
Let me get my
man. Yo, listen. You see this show ya? This show ya is just a show of love. What we're doing with this show ya just love. This is where you can just be you. You don't have to put on no persona. You just relax and just let the world know about you. Cause Sudbury's in here. Everybody's across the world is just logging in and Sudbury.
I got some champagne drinkers. So I just want to know who all there caught the book. Because if y'all popping bottles, did you cop the book yet or what?
We need to pop the book. Mine's in the order, so we have to get you into this soon. We soon have to get you one of them, hip vodka, hip gin. This is hip gin. Hip gin. We have to send you a hip vodka. See, New Market is in the house. Canada really representing you tonight. Cheers to you.
You know what? Thank you to whoever has the ebook. I am Banky. Thank you so much. Where is it selling? It's selling everywhere. Can you hear me now? Just put in Celina and Can You Hear Me Now? And you can buy it at Amazon, anywhere books are sold. But honestly, this has been a whole ride. And I really got to say thank you to Canadians for the support that they've showed me throughout politics and now. And the love has just been amazing. And it's been worldwide, people are still sending me my video when I did the braids, when I talked about braids in Parliament. So
it do up. Everything all right.
You gotta agree. They look kind of dope.
They look dope. Yo, listen. See?
I grew up in Brampton. Big up yourself.
My brethren's ordering the book as we speak right now. He's ordering it right now. So listen, for those who don't know, this is Celina CAESAR-CHAVANNES. Is that I say it properly? Because Chavannes. All right, good. Because I parlez-vous français petit. You see?
Oh, je parle en français petit aussi.
Petit. Oui. Ah, petit. You see, I was born in Ottawa, so you know what I mean. So, listen.
No?
No. Yo, I'm gonna have to give you that bounty.
About me, right? You don't know about me. I could switch it up. I could flip it up.
You mean, yo, hang with the queen one day and be on the corner the next? That's you. You mean?
Wait, you know
that's
what?
That's what we want.
It's not on the corner though. It's in a fete. It's in a
fete. Oh, mana. You see how relaxing it is? This is what life should be. We're with a political superstar. I'm not gonna leave that off of your title. You are a superstar and multi-talented person. Your persona and your humbleness is just what Canada, you know, should have had as the premier elite position. But you know, we'll get into all the things that happened, and we'll get into the good and the bad, of course. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't leave far from you because of this book. The book has come out. Can you hear me now? Let's start like this. What possessed you and made you give a book like this?
Well, you know what? So the book is it's really open. It's really honest. It's really candid. Hello, Leanne. Hello, everybody who's on. It's really candid. And I really wanted people to understand that there is purpose after hurt. There is passion after pain. There is moments of joy after you make mistakes. And usually what people see, they see Celina, parliamentary secretary to the prime minister, Celina, elected official, Celina, the entrepreneur, Celina, the senior advisor, but they don't see the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to be Celina. And everybody has blood, sweat, and tears. Why are we afraid to say, look, we don't just show up here. We have to struggle. We already know we Black, so we don't just show up and get the good stuff.
Right.
We have to work hard. We have to work twice as hard. We have to run twice as fast. We need to look twice as good.
Straight up.
We don't have to be too tough, right? Because we just look all the time.
Jaja. Yeah. Yo.
You know, you guys
stop it. Stop it. Calm down. 100. 100. You get the sample. You know, many people don't get that. You get the sample, you know?
Yeah, man.
Listen, it's a book that would shock the average reader because you go deep. Yeah. You would think that this is just a book about politics and blah, blah, but it's not. That blah, blah is cut out. It's politics, your personal life, what you've done wrong or what you feel people will accept as wrong, what you've endured. Why give out your whole, you know, your life like that? And you have two daughters?
I have 2 daughters and a son, 22,
and a son,
16 and 12. Yeah.
Putting out this book, you know, it's always about the next generation.
Yes.
You know, always, because we as parents have to set it for them.
Yeah.
And what precedent are you setting with this book for your children?
So, you know what? I've always been open with my kids about my mistakes because I want them to know, one, that I'm not perfect. I've had challenges, and the important thing is that even though you fall, no matter how many times you fall, whether you fall down or somebody pushes you, the foundation that you have with your education, your principles, your values allows you to stand right back up. That's what builds your resilience. The second thing is I wanted them to know that if anything happened to me, heaven forbid, that if they were to make a mistake, that they weren't the first. They're not walking alone. Their mom is walking right beside them saying, look, here, I was there with you. I see you. Number 3 is to know that, yeah, you could still, the mistake doesn't end you. The mistake doesn't own you. You own the mistake. And what you choose to do with it is up to you. Are you going to learn from it? Are you going to bury it deep inside and let it eat you up? Are you going to say, look, I learned my lesson and now I'm going to give it away. I'm going to just throw it away. I'm going to put it behind me. So in putting it all in this book, it was really cathartic to write it down. But it's like, that's it. I don't own any of this anymore. I've given it away. My cup is empty from all that toxin and all that stuff that you hold on, that guilt, that shame, that stuff that you hold on to. It's gone. So I live now a purposeful, joyful life in which, I just, drink my champagne.
Drink up. Take a sip, man. Take a sip. Can you hear me now? Writing this book, are you feeling people? I mean, you're on a high plateau. You've been across the board with ammunition for this book. I mean, promotion is up to next to none. Like it's on. I mean, you've reached here. You've reached some of the best. I know that Brandon Gomez, you've been there. And hats off to Brandon for doing an exceptional job. He's doing an exceptional job. Big up Brandon. Yes. Straight goods, and big up everybody else who's doing their thing through these hard times. Can you hear me now? Are they listening? Do you think they're listening?
Yes, they are listening. It's interesting because I'm still very political. So there's still things that I put out on social media because I want to stir things up. But I still do things from behind the scenes. I still email. I still, send messages where I need to send messages. I have, the thing is that after you leave politics, you have a 5-year ban on advocating to government directly because you could influence their decisions. But when it comes to riding for Black people, when it comes to riding for people with intersecting identities, when it comes for riding for people who I know need me to speak up for them, throw me in jail. Like, I wish
Straight
you would.
up.
I wish you would. Right.
I wish they would. We'll be. That's a march. That's a march that will be going on.
Right, because you know what? During the pandemic, the people that were separated from their families, you know what they look like? Us. Us. When people are dying, you know what they look like? Most of them, me. So you want to talk about a 5-year ban on advocacy? Please, I beg you. I wish you would.
I wish you would.
Politics. I'm not stopping.
Listen, politics will never leave you, only due to the fact that most of the clips that people put out is pictures of you with the Liberal caucus behind you, pictures of you with the PM, pictures of Ding. Is it hard day to day to see this? Is it hard? Is it difficult?
Great question. Yes. So it is difficult only because they did me dirty, right? Like they, the tokenism, the exclusion, and, I wish I knew what I did wrong, right? Like if I was doing something that was wrong, being too bold, asking a government that had a majority, people forget, like when they say, oh, Celina, you're asking for too much. We had a majority government. We had a mandate that diversity was our strength, add women, change politics, sunny ways, government done differently, open, transparent, sunny ways. And then when you ask for a repeal of mandatory minimums, which was in their campaign.
Yes.
Mandatory minimums, the amount of brothers and sisters that are in jail, Black and Indigenous, because of mandatory minimums, the fact that we didn't expunge criminal records for weed possession, like, oh, well, they had, other convictions. They had other convictions. You know why? Because of programs like TAVIS, that over surveillance of our communities where you're racking up brothers. What do you expect? Yeah. What do you expect? So right the wrong, do what is right. Do not do what is politically expedient, meaning, if I do this, if I repeal mandatory minimums, the conservatives are going to think that we're soft on crime. Who cares at this point? People that look like me and my family are rotten in prison cells because you refuse to do what you promised. And for that, you are going to gaslight me and hang me out to dry and expect me to just say, okay, I'm going to do your bidding. That I can't. That doesn't, I don't even know what to make of that.
you know, listen.
I'm hot now. Now you got me fired up, bro.
No, man, that's fire up. Fire up. Because, yo, this is what it's about. I mean, listen, everybody knows the biggest thing that for a voter, I'm a voter. I vote. The biggest thing for me is trust. That's the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing across the board. I look at the politicians a lot, and I just say, who do I trust if I can? Not I do trust them. It's who I trust if I can. I've been liberal. In your time frame, I was always liberal. I won't get into why I'm undecided right now, but I'm very undecided right now. Very undecided. The problem is that you set something, a tone right now, is that politicians are not doing what they promise.
Right.
A lot of them.
Right.
When we
but
have
who
people,
pays for that? Who's paying for that, though?
Well, I think I pay for that. You pay for that.
No, but it's our community. It's the people that don't have that pay for it. They are the ones that are expendable. Why? Why is it that people that look like me are so expendable? And then I'm supposed to sit and say, well, yes, they are expendable. No, those are my brothers. Those are my sisters. I can't do that.
And do you state here and now, because you wanted to speak up and be for the people and believe in what you stand for, believe in the platform that was set out, you believed in it, you stood up for it, you stand here now and you believe that is one of the, if not the majority reason that you were basically silenced in your caucus.
No. It wasn't basically. I was silenced. We don't need the filler word. We don't need the gap word.
Okay.
I was silenced. And it was marginalized. No, first of all, I wasn't silenced. I was marginalized from the table. So people say, you know, Celina, you were at the table and you should have been, you know, making it. No, I was at the table. And then the more I spoke up about issues, whether it was mental health or equity, racism, microaggressions, the more I got pushed down to the end of the table. You know, when you have a dinner party, you put your brethren right beside you. Yes. And then the people you had to invite, but you don't really want to invite, you put them down at the end. Right? I don't really want to talk to that cat, but I got to invite them. Right?
So, leave them down there stuff so we don't have to really associate. Mix that mingle a little more.
If they get oxtail gravy at the end, men up business if they get it, if they don't. Right?
Get a business. All right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was finding that I was further down at the end. By the time I left, child, I was on the menu. I don't have time for that.
No.
But the interesting thing about being on the menu and one making a decision to say, no, I'm out of here, is that they made the mistake of showing me what the bounty is. I know what the bounty is on that table. I know how much money they got. So when they're giving our community, like the historic gender-based violence investment of $2.5 million for how many Black organizations, I could say, isn't that interesting? Because in 2018, you gave one organization $3.7 million. So don't tell me when you're giving it to us it's historic. We are not interested in your crumbs. I know how much bounty you have on that table, and I'm willing to call it out.
Wow.
A joke thing, yes, a joke thing down.
It's a big time. It is a big time joke thing. I'm looking at it, you know, Celina, how does one hear the truth finally and then go and trust politicians after? How do we do that?
So this is the thing, right? Like, we don't have a choice. We need to work within that system. So, you know, people say, Celina, you left. How come you're asking people to still run? I left because I needed to leave, right? I needed to leave. First of all, I can't follow a leader who can't lead.
Jaja. Hold up. Stop it. Stop it. Calm down. Yo, that one they hit hard. Jaja. Yeah. Celina. All right. I'm working with you. I'm working with you. I'm working with you.
I'm just like, you know, men, and we're not size. Like, we're not size.
No.
So there's a thing there that I just can't do it, right?
Yeah.
However, we still need people in there. It's not for me. I am a cussing, disruptive fighter in the
strong black woman.
Yeah, I'm all
black woman.
I'm not about playing nice. And there's people that could do that. I can't do that, especially with someone that I've lost respect for. Can I have a beer with Justin Trudeau? Yes. Can I follow him as a leader? Absolutely not. He does not have the emotional depth or the self-awareness to lead, in my opinion. I'm not trying to sway anybody else. That's what I think.
Your opinion's allowed.
Right. However, I do think that people need to keep holding him to account. And so we can't just say, well, we can't trust him, so we're not going to hold him to account. Look, he is not the barista at the coffee shop. He is the leader of a G7 country. Like, are we forgetting this somewhere along the line? He's the leader of a G7 country. Therefore, look, what I have to say is not about him personally. It is about his ability to lead when it comes down to doing what is right for the people that need it the most. And unfortunately, I don't think he has the capacity to do that, especially for Black people, unless he's performing. When it comes to taking a knee at a Black Lives Matter march, when he was leaving me out to dry 2 years ago in 2018, when I was talking about racism, when I was being gaslit.
I was going to talk about that. I was going to say that. I was going to say that. I'm like, but he had the core element in his possession of his caucus right here. He had it. So I'm kind of confused. I'd like to ask him. I'm kind of confused. I don't think.
Ask him for me too, bro.
I don't think he'd give me the opportunity, but hey, what do I know? You never know. You never know, because this show is real. It's just real. We don't sugarcoat anything around here. And that was part of what I was thinking. I'm like, but wait, he had Celina in his caucus leading a movement that is needed to talk about, right? The Black movement was needed, and you were there. You were discussing this.
Right.
So why put you to the back? Why the pushback? So when I saw him kneel, listen, I work 9 to 5, and they did this whole thing, stop for 8 minutes, but they just do it for 8 minutes and carry on. Like they didn't really mean it. There was no meaning behind it. It was just like a showboat thing. I knew that. You see what I'm saying? So,
and to be honest, so, someone's asking about the blackface thing. So, it's interesting how things have been tied together. So you have me talking about racism in 2018. The prime minister is nowhere to be found, right? He's like running as far away from me until Here for Celina happens. Then all of a sudden he's like pops up, right? Then blackface happens, right? So I'm like, yo, he can't just say sorry. He needs to say what he learned, meaning he was in Manitoba at the Museum of Human Rights. He should have talked about the fact that minstrel shows were rampant in Canada, in the prairies, and how dehumanizing it was to Black people. He didn't do that. Remember what I talked about when it comes to leadership. Like, when you tell your children, you did something bad, say you're sorry. Now, what did you learn? He's talking about, this is a leadership moment. For whom? For me? Child, I already know. I already know. It's now time for
leadership. For who?
For whom? Black people know this. What do you mean a leadership moment? For whom? So you say what you learned. He missed the opportunity to say that he learned what he learned or what he wanted to teach Canadians. And then what are you going to do about it? As a leader, you hold yourself to account when you make a mistake. You hold yourself to account, and you put that publicly so people know what you are going to do to atone for the mistake that you've made, if it in fact was a mistake.
You're not feeling it was a mistake?
Look, Don't make me have to hang up this.
Let me get a drink. Let me get a drink. Let me get a drink on my. I need a drink, you know, because Jaja.
That was a grown-ass man that did what he did. And as a teacher, so imagine, but really think about this in context, right? So this is someone who was responsible for the education of our children.
Yes. Yes.
And then, and you know how our children are treated in schools.
Yeah.
So this is someone who was responsible for the education of our children, mind you, drama teacher, but whatever. It's still a responsibility. He's getting paid for that. And then he does this and then says, well, it was a mistake. Okay, bruh. So maybe it was a mistake. So how many times did you do it? If it was a mistake, like you slipped and your face fell in the mud once, and it was a mistake, and you couldn't find a shower, and you went to a party and you left it on. That is a mistake. But when they ask how many times did you do it, and you're like, 1, 2.
It's not a mistake.
Oh my God,
it's not a mistake.
Does that count? Mistake, man.
Yeah, it's not a mistake.
When we don't hold people to account.
But my problem is this: when we try to hold them to account, the laws are suddenly enforced. The authorities are suddenly disbanded. The talk down. Like, listen, I'm on a radio station at what was CHRO is now Vibe, 3 to 5 Thursdays and Fridays. Listen, there's so much I could say, and I had this conversation with a friend who controls a barbershop the other day. Does Canada really have freedom of speech? And I was a little bewildered by that, because I'm like, I don't think we do. I do not think that we have freedom of speech. I think we can say things, and then all of a sudden everything gets kicked in our face. You know, and you're a politician, you know what's going on. So I ask you, do you believe Canada has this freedom of speech that is out there apparently?
You know what? Canada has what it wants.
Jaja. Let me take a sip.
Let's be very clear. Canada has what it wants. So when we're talking about certain issues, you can't say those things, right? So, you know, you stand up for Palestine, or you say something that is, you know, even remotely in the realm of, you get burnt down. But
100.
Professors everywhere could say the N-word as long as they feel like it. So when it comes
this is where we went to.
Right.
This is where we went to. When it comes to certain groups. But how come everybody could matter except me and you? How come everybody can matter but that? Everybody could matter. They could make certain accords, certain changes, certain movements. I'm a little confused.
You know what? So Ninja, we cannot go against their agenda. The privilege. So, you know, the Prime Minister said something during that blackface that I don't think people actually heard. And he said, I operate from the blind spot that privilege affords me.
Wow. You know, I'm going to ask
on national TV.
And for those out there, I want you to break down and really interpret exactly what he meant by that, because this is going to be a nail. This is one of those nails around there.
God, can I cuss on this show? Because I was like,
yeah, sometimes you can cuss, but not cuss too tough, because you still name Celina.
Because once I take the cap off, you know, they just
yeah. So,
I go be, you know, I go be real posh, you know, bougie.
Yeah.
Talking about bougie people in Quebec, right? You know, I go try to be a little bougie here.
You're all right.
But let me tell you, guy, no, God, my man said, I operate, meaning I execute, I work from the blind spots, meaning I could close my eye and I could work. Now you imagine yourself doing your job. You're closing your eye, right? You're closing your eye. You're closing your eye. You have blind spot here. You open up. You're closing your eye, right? I have to use the accent now because now I'm getting real hot, man. So you're closing your eye. You're working. You're DJing. You're doing your thing. You're talking on the mic. I trying to find my glass. I can't even find my glass to drink, but because I don't have no damn privilege. I need to open my damn eyes. But anyway, I'm talking about him man now. So he's saying he operates from the blind spots.
From the blind spot.
We don't have no damn privilege. Where's my privilege? I want to operate from that blind spot. I want to have my eyes closed when I'm working. But you know what? I'm too busy working twice as fast, twice as hard, running twice as long, while you are able to sit back, close your eyes, relax, and do your work because you have privilege, because your name is Trudeau. But let me tell you something, million a size. And that's where I think Black people really need to understand their power. Understand your power as people. Understand where we come from. Because before there was Trudeau, there was us.
Yeah.
It was us.
Yeah.
We were the civilized. We were the creators. We were the mathematicians. We were the scientists. We were the entrepreneurs. Don't tell me about nothing but your privilege. We gave you privilege. Man, that's not a joke. We gave
That's
you
where it came
privilege.
down to. That's what it came down to. We gave you
privilege. You privilege. I want people to actually think about that, though. I want you to think about those words. We gave you privilege. What does that mean? This man operates from a blind spot in which privilege afforded him, right? So he could close his eyes and get stuff done just because he has privilege. He has a name, right?
Yeah.
But let me say something. We gave you that privilege. You know why? In the same way that colonization has allowed these so-called empires to be created, if we decided to actually take our labor, our capital.
My gosh.
No, it's a real talk. You want real talk. You said that this was real talk here. You want real talk. This is real talk.
I'm learning and listening to everything you say. You don't know how important you are.
And let me just say something, because I want to bring it right down to the granular for our Prime Minister. We as Black people, especially ones that come from the Caribbean in the 70s, where Pierre Elliott Trudeau opened the door for we. Oh God, he's so nice. Oh God, he opened the door. So we always voting liberal.
Yeah.
Don't just give them your vote. We gave him that privilege because he believes that we are just going to be there all the time. Here, Black people, who you voting for? I vote in liberal. I mean, that's not a question. That's not a question.
Yeah.
What have you done for me lately?
I learned the hard way. You're talking to me right now. Forget the wizology. I learned the hard way. And exactly what you said, I made the mistake. I was liberal. I wanted to be liberal. I didn't really venture into other things.
Right.
It was a mistake. I made the mistake.
And I'm not telling people to say it's a mistake or not a mistake.
Yes.
I'm just wanting you to think about the fact that your leader of a G7 country is saying that he operates from the blind spot that privilege afforded him. You gave him that privilege. With a blind vote, and then no accountability in between. None. Zero.
But my problem is this. I think you, being the intelligent lady that you are, knowing that you could flip from You could talk from the streets level right to the corporate level. You could mix and mingle. You could make us understand and break down, because that is what I tell politicians all the time. I've talked to Andrea Horvath. I've talked to Jill. I've talked to, don't talk about me. Talk to me. Talk and let me understand what's going on. You want to use all these different words and these things, and you never want to talk about what I want to talk about, which is what's going on in my life.
Well, somebody said that earlier. It's about their agenda, right? It's about their agenda. And I want to just address Camera Ray first. You know, it's about choosing the lesser of evils. And I understand, like right now in particular, like it is about kind of choosing the lesser of evil. Mm-hmm. But why is that the option? Like we go back to the power that we have. The power
you're not there
in numbers, but look, I'll go back, right? I'm not saying that I'm out. The thing about going into something and having the courage to go in is that you see that door is open, and the first time you go in, you're like, wow, that's such a pretty door. I love it. Oh my God, it's so good. Mm-hmm. And then you go back to it and you're like, man, that door wasn't actually pretty. Like I thought that was like, little artsy design. That's cracks in the door. Right. So you can actually reassess and go back and look. And the reason why I was always so honest about my experience in politics is because the next person that comes in, the next person, and I'm not going to say the next Celina, because you need to be your own self, but the next person that goes in, I want you to be very clear that that place was never designed for us to be there. It was built on exclusionary principles. Black people, Indigenous people, women, we were not supposed to be there. It was built on that. And that status quo was reinforced by legislation, the Indian Act, residential schools, anti-Black immigration policies, 206 years of slavery in this country that reinforced that status quo. And then when we show up, it's supposed to be, people are supposed to think, well, we're all equal. No, that racism is baked into the walls. It's in the brick. It's in the mortar. It's in the staircase. It's in the lights. So I want you to be very clear about what's there when you get there. And in fact, let me just be very clear about this. When I was there in the 42nd Parliament, there was no, women weren't supposed to be there. In the 42nd Parliament, there was no dress code for women. Like, you guys think that this is a joke thing I'm saying. It's not a joke thing. There was no dress code because women weren't supposed to show up, ever. So I would show up with my t-shirt and jeans on. Yeah. The guys don't have a tie on. They can't get up and speak. But I could show up with my t-shirt and my jeans. And every single day was a day of protest for me. Every single thing I wore, what I said, what I looked like was a protest. That's because we've always been politicized, especially as Black women. They've always politicized us. They've always tried to make us the enemy. They've always said that we're the bad guys. They've always said that we're the terrorists, but we're always on the front line defending everybody else, but never benefiting from the work that we put in. And that's a real talk when it comes to Black women. Who do you see dying right now? Who in the city of Toronto, where there's 9% of the population is Black, 30% of COVID cases fall on Black communities. 25% of hospitalizations are Black people. And when you think about that more broadly, when you think of 90% of PSWs are women, 80% of nurses, not 80% of research, you know who those people are that are dying? Black women, women of color. But we don't benefit. We don't benefit.
Man. Celina, you said something. It's like every day you had to go in there and basically your mind frame, what it took for the pressure that you were under. But I want you to take me back to that morning when you knew you were going in there with your braids and you knew that speech was going to thing. Do you remember that day clearly in your head? Do you remember
clear as day
how it was you were going to present yourself? Because you knew what you were doing, and what you're doing was monumental in the movement of you know, for everybody who else wants to come into the caucus or the parliament. When you woke up that morning, you have your braids and you're getting ready and you have this speech and you know you're going to go in there. What was it? What was going through your mind frame? Take me back to that day.
Man, I was nervous that morning. I was nervous all week. So I was supposed to do that speech on the Monday. And I'm like, okay, if I do it on the Monday, people are going to ask me, you know, what's up with her? Why is she in here with braids? Has anybody ever wore braids here before? What's going on with her hair? And then most importantly, somebody deciding to touch my hair. Child, I was just like, I pray God nobody touches my hair by Wednesday when I do this speech, right? So then Wednesday shows up and I'm like, you know, I don't know what's going to go viral. You don't do things and then say, this is for sure going to go viral. You do it because you know you have a moment. And in those, so for people that don't know, during that speech where I talked about my braids, people were like questioning me because it was, well, you're supposed to talk about your riding. So I'm supposed to talk about Whitby. I'm supposed to talk about things that are happening, you know, the community barbecue, the blah, blah, blah. This is, you know, I'm supposed to be bigging up Whitby during that time.
Yes.
All of a sudden I'm talking about, Mr. Speaker, my braids are dope. I have my hair in braids. And people are like, what? What? This lady has done lost her mind. However, I knew, so I made a very conscious decision. And I think that people need to like really understand this moment for me. I made a very conscious decision that in September 2017, the gloves were coming off. I was not going to play nice anymore. I was going to speak to the issues that were important to people that look like me. I was going to speak to the issues. So I spoke about mental health for 2016 and a little bit of 2017. But by September, so after the summer break, you come back to the house in September. And I was like, now it's all about people who I know are having those same water cooler conversations, the ones that you have with your boys, and you're like, yo, you should see the Patriots last night, you see the Raptors, yo, did you see that show last night, yo, bro, you see that? But there's also conversations at that water cooler that says, did you see what happened to me? Did you see what he did to me? Did you hear that? Did you see them touch me? Did you see them touch my braids? What do I do? Those whispered conversations were the ones, those people that are having those whispered conversations that are hurting at that water cooler while everybody else is yucking it up. Those are the people that I went to represent. And those are the people that I said, you know what? These people keep giving me one of the biggest megaphones in the country. And they keep saying, talk. What am I going to say? And in that moment, you have a choice. Do you be the bobblehead politician that they give you the words to say and you just read them off the paper? Or do you say, nah,
I'm going to do it my way. Yeah, you're going to do it your way.
Now it's our turn. And from, I think that moment was when all of a sudden, I was there beside the man, you know, the host. I was at the dinner table. I talking to the partners and them. All of a sudden, oxtail passed me. I ain't getting no oxtail. I ain't getting no rice and peas. I said, well, what he asked is this? I ain't on the table no more.
No, people are passing by and they're like, what's going on here? You're like, what's going on? How come the food not reaching me? How come, what's going on?
Not reaching me? But what?
Right then and there.
But that's what he said. But what he asked?
Yo,
and then you look around and you realize, oh damn.
We see the real them.
Okay. What he jail? What he jail happening here?
Yeah, that moment.
But that moment.
It's in time. It can never be taken back. You have no regrets about it. I don't think the people who support you, the people who know what you're doing, are all for it. And you're mean to tell me the caucus that you defended through your whole, you know, through the career that you started and went through, couldn't look at you and say, this is a defining moment. We need to uplift because this is the person that really gave it to the world real, gave it to Canada real.
Yeah, no. And that's for sure, no. And you know how I know? Because I only bring receipts. I don't bring no kind of long talk that don't have no purpose. So that happened in September of 2017. By March 2018, so this is less than 6 months later, when I say to Maxime Bernier, who is dissing the investment that we made in the 2018 budget in Black communities. So the first time ever in the history of Canada, we get around $50 million over 5 years. Not a lot of money, not the point. I'll speak about that later if you give me time, because that makes me mad. But anyway, we have money invested in. Maxime Bernier says this investment is basically saying it's a joke. And why are we doing this? It's divisive. He called it divisive. And he said that we should be striving towards a colorblind society. At that moment, so again, this is the we're showing up for Black people moment for the Liberals. Somebody across the aisle, this is it. This is it. I tell him, yo, check your privilege and be quiet. And it's like, whoa.
Wow. It was like that. It was like that.
Like roaches.
It was like that.
White, yo. Guys,
wow.
But look at it. But just look at the evidence. Look at the evidence. I had journalists saying to me, oh, I'm really disappointed in Celina for that.
Why?
I didn't have one member of my caucus. Well, no, I had a handful, but publicly say, and not say publicly, oh, Celina, you didn't say anything wrong. Forget about me for a moment, just for one moment. Nobody said, Maxime, actually, shut your damn mouth. This is a historic investment in Black communities across Canada. I beg you, I wish you would look up the Twitter feed on that. I wish you would find me one person that actually called him out for us. For us. Never mind standing up for me. Never mind saying, you know what, we stand with Celina. It wasn't until Here for Celina went viral. And this is a point where I have to big up Adam Vaughan, because Adam Vaughan and Andre Domise actually put that out there. And Adam was a member of my caucus. But until that moment, when the whole world decided they were going to stand behind me, then all of a sudden you have people coming out of the woodwork. So no, they weren't ready to stand by me. They were not.
Goodness.
And at this point, you got to decide, do you keep going or do you stop?
Is this when you made your decision? Was it at that moment? Was it after, you know, how soon after the effect of that monumental moment with the braids in the house that you said, you know what? I gotta go. I can't anymore.
So, yeah, you do keep going. You do keep going. But it took a while. It took a while because I was feeling really guilty about the fact that I knew I was pushing them to do something, and I didn't know if anybody would do it after I was gone. So I felt horrible leaving or saying that I wasn't going to run again.
Wow.
But knowing that I could not stand with a leader, I needed to regroup. Like I needed a moment to right? So again, being very honest about the situation, knowing that I needed to remove myself, but also saying to people, please come in. Like, I will keep my foot in this door. I will keep making noise. I will keep being the disruptor. I'll keep saying stuff. I will put my foot in the door. And let me tell you, putting my foot in that door hurts, because after I left, so when I made the decision to actually start speaking up, I thought, and this is the actual mental math that I had to do, I am not going to work another day in Canada again.
Wow.
Like, this is what you put on the line, right?
Yeah.
Because you're blacklisted by a Trudeau.
Yes.
Right? Like, you're done.
I was going to ask you, were you not fear? And I wouldn't go as far as fear for your life. I don't know. But
I had
were you not?
I moved. I had to move. I moved from my house into a condo with my family of 5. So I had death threats. I had to move. I had a panic button with me all the time. I moved, and then I just moved here when I decided I wasn't going to run again. I moved 3 times in the time that I was in Parliament for 4 years.
Wow.
I had death threats. My kids had death threats against them. So at that point, so I'm thinking now, not only do I have to move multiple times, but I'm not going to work another day in Canada again. I've done this math, and I'm like, no, we keep going. Am I still clear?
You're clear. You're clear.
Yeah. So I say we keep going. I keep going. And after I leave, so from October 2019 to October 2020, I did not work. And I actually called every single one of my white male colleagues and asked them, who said that they weren't running again. And I asked them, well, what are you doing now? Like, hey, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, chilling. Yes. So what are you doing now? Oh, I'm a consultant with the big GR firms in Ottawa. Oh, right. How did you get that job? Did you apply? No. They just called me. Oh, okay. Next person again. Next person again. Same thing. Nobody called me. The only reason that I have a job right now as a senior advisor at Queen's University is because Jane Philpott, who is an actual personification of an ally, decided to hire me.
My God.
And I sent out application after, and this is not just about my politics. I owned a business for 10 years, a healthcare-based research management firm. I was a co-chair of Canada's first national epidemiology study of neurological conditions, looking at Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, epilepsy. I managed clinical trials for global firms. I research and business were my thing. And I could not get one single job.
My God.
No, look, Rachel, not even on a board. I have never been on a paid board. Never. I have sat on governing council at the University of Toronto. I've sat on a governing council at CAESAR, at the Institute of Neuroscience, Mental Health, and Addiction. I've advised people on this stuff. My background is in neurological research management.
Are they scared of your brains?
You better believe they should be.
I have to ask, I'm sorry. Are they scared because you are this intelligent? This is God's blessings. Are they scared? I am very confused.
Charlie, you and me both. We both confused. We confused now.
I am at a loss of words almost, and that rarely happens.
But let me be clear about when you talk about scared. It's not about being scared. It's realizing that I give 0 beeps. Yeah. So when you really can't when you can't take any, when you have nothing to lose, and when the person knows that they can't kill you, they could try, but they'll never destroy you. That's the power that we have We may bend, we may sway, but you better believe I ain't gonna break.
You are, yo, Jaja. Whoever is in your corner or around you day to day, and just be like, I feel lucky just to be talking to you now, but whoever's around you, I hope they never take you for granted, ever, because it is just magic around you. It is absolutely gratifying to be around you and your persona and your mind frame and what you stand for. Listen, let's
my
sneak
family
into
is
the
a big support, and I honestly, this is the kind of magic that we give each other. Like, I don't just have this magic on my own. I get it from other people. I get it because, you know, the Ruddock family is online. I get it because Lisa's online. I get it because, like, all these people are, like, just pouring in love. We have always operated from the principle of the village. The village is always rooted in every single thing that we do. So the fact that I am speaking and not necessarily, I'm not saying that I wasn't afraid, but I wasn't frightened, because I know the connections that we have. I know the capacity that we have that, man, let me just go back to the top. We are not size. You cannot control me. You're darn right. You can't control me. You are not going to destroy me. I am, if you are standing alone, and I want people to hear this, if we are standing alone on the right side of history, it is better than standing in the crowd on the wrong side. We standing on that right side alone, you can't lose on that. How you gonna, like, bet? Seriously, right? You're standing on the right side alone.
Yeah, listen, I never even knew you were this down to earth. I thought, you know, I'm all nervous because it's Celina. It's like, yo, this is a top tier for me. And it's like, Jaja, you're just like so humble, so cool, so like one of us. It's like, whatever. You know,
I am one of y'all. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's just this is what I think politics needs. This is what this one-on-one, this level of understanding, of me understanding you and you understanding me. This is what it needs. It's we real over here. Like Ninja says, we real people. Like, you know,
we need to keep it real. And you know what? It's not just about you know, others. Like, it's one of the reasons why I say dope in the House of Commons. I don't code switch. You know how people, like, intentionally, like, think about code switching when they're in certain rooms? I intentionally think about not code switching, because I want to keep our culture. It's the reason that some of my pictures on Instagram with my grills in, I wear my grills on purpose, because they can, but seriously, they keep taking parts of us.
Yeah.
And when they take it, then it becomes avant-garde. Then it becomes, you know, part of mainstream culture. No, we're done with that. We're gonna
said this.
Yeah, we're going to keep talking the way that we talk, because we can code switch when we want, but I'm choosing not to, because 100. Code switching doesn't mean that my MBA in healthcare management goes away, or my executive MBA, or my Toronto Board of Trade Entrepreneur of the Year, or any of those things go away. Me with my grills does not mean that I have all of a sudden lacked intelligence.
Jaja.
It doesn't.
Yeah, 100. Right? Yeah, 100.
Straight 100. So if you can't accept me with grills, what does that say to my brothers and sisters out there who are with theirs on? Right? But you'll accept me because I speak well, and I could talk to you about neurological conditions. Yeah, you're gonna talk to me with my blinging grills in my mouth.
We need to take a drink. We have to take a drink to that. We have to drink to that one.
And I do it just to just to piss people off.
Yeah, straight up.
In her mouth? Does she have grills on? It's like, yeah, I do.
Celina, what was the most difficult part of this book for you?
I think the difficult part was really talking the truth about some of the things that I've been through, like some of the things that I felt ashamed of doing. But I would say the part that I can't read without crying is when I talk about my grandfather. The passing of my grandfather. I've read this book at least 15 times. I love every page of it. But when I talk about my grandfather passing, it breaks me still. Because I don't know, still, I think part of me wishes that he could see this.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I wish he could see that, you know, I took a piece of Miss Caesar, which was his wife, my grandmother, which I called her Miss Caesar because she was a total diva. She wasn't grandmother. She was like badass. Yeah. And I wish that he could just see that, yo, I came, I saw, I killed it, yo. I killed it. And I'm still going. And, you know, I'll say this, that one of the things that, you know, I want and that I've always lived by is that I want my tombstone. I know this sounds morbid, but I want my tombstone to read, all she had left to do was die. I'm going to live. I'm going to do all the stuff that I like, that I think about, that, you know, take risks. I'm going to do things. Yeah. And that's what I think was the hardest part, because I've lived a great life. No regrets.
None.
None. Wow. Not a single one. And I mean, you read this book. Yeah. You might think she must regret something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Everything in this book allowed me to end up here. Mm-hmm. So
can you hear me now?
Take away? It allowed me to end up here, and yo, bro, I'm doing pretty good.
By the looks of it, you're doing fabulous. It's not just good; you're doing fabulous. Look at you. You know,
I look good.
You, yeah, 100. Yo, 100.
I have like a couple more years. This queen is gonna be 50. I mean, I am like, man, I gotta jump back and kiss myself because
you're slaying it. You're slaying it. I don't care what anybody. You are slaying it. I'm telling you that right now. You are slaying it. I mean, listen, you are a woman of inspiration to the world. I'm not just talking about Canada. You're a top author. You are just somebody.
Whoa, bro.
I held back.
Best-selling author.
My apologies.
Debuted on the national bestsellers list.
I am sorry.
Man, yo.
Listen, I am sorry. Slap me in the face. Bam, whiz, wayado. This is the greatest selling. Pretty like money. All right. I apologize. I humbly apologize. I will never make that mistake again. This is the elite of elite authors. Let me just up one on you. Elite of elite. You mean, like, listen, everybody, listen. If there's a book that every single person in their life should have, it is Can You Hear Me Now? This is the book. Hold it up and show it. It is the #1 seller, the best, the most elite, top of the top. I don't know how much I can humbly apologize to soup up this book, because this book, it is just so extreme for you to be in a position that you are in and talk about the things that happen so dear to your life, and knowing that, you know, your children can read and understand it and they accept it, and you accept that. You basically accept those faults and those whatever you went through. You accepted it and you dealt with them, and you know, you have to face them. But I guess the greatest thing is that they see you as an open book, right? No pun intended, that they could come to you with anything. Because if you could let the world into you like that, you know what I mean? The world could understand you through that. And this, okay, people are, it's on Amazon. Tell them where to get it. It's on Amazon.
So just, can you hear me now? Put in Celina. Can you hear me now? You can get it at Amazon, anywhere books are sold. It's in Indigo chapters. You can get the hard copy once we open back up. But just order it, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Barnes and Noble, U.S., globally, anywhere.
Yo, this is a book of must read, and I don't read as much as I should, but I'm telling you, meeting you, speaking with you, understanding you, and the respect that I have for you, because I just, you know, you hear about you. You Google you, you YouTube you, and you say, okay, it's a politician that was, you know, it happened, blah, blah, this. But then when you start to really analyze, and I analyze, and the most catching moment for me was the braid moment, was the braids moment, when it wasn't that the fact that it's just that you said they're pretty dope. And I was like, wait, did she say dope? She said dope, right? And I rewind it, she said dope. And I was like, she said dope. And I'm like, did they understand that lingo? Like, why did she choose that? But
it wasn't for them.
It wasn't for them. It wasn't for them.
I didn't speak from a position, even with the book, and in that speech specifically, I didn't do it from a white gaze. I spoke to us. I spoke to us. I wanted people to know, like when I talked about the size of our hips, the size of our lips, I was speaking to Black women. You know, when I wrote my love letter to Black women, that was to us. That wasn't for an interpretation. Yeah. Whether you understood it or not was not my problem.
Yeah, and I get that now.
Like a you issue.
That sounds like I get it, and I was like, wow. And then I started, you know, seeing you more, and the more every interview you did, you were nonchalant. It was you. I didn't feel like I was talking to a politician, to be honest with you. I didn't see that. And you know, because when you hear about you, you know how monumental you are because of you leaving the caucus and everybody writes this and that. And I don't believe in trying to judge anybody. I believe in you have to do something to me personally for me to dislike you or to have a problem with you or judge you. It has to be done to me. So when you know, through that whole element, and you survived it, and I see you now everywhere. Everybody's, you know, you're a fighter. You are a fighter. You are somebody that's just not going to quit. You know, it doesn't matter what they shove at you. So what I want to ask you is, like, you gave us I don't know if you gave a sneak peek or people know, but you said you might step back into the ring. Are you not fearful of any repercussions that are going to try to come at you? Are you not, like, because that's a bigger step though, Celina. That is a massive, massive, massive movement. Like, I'll join the ship. I'll join the ship. 100. I'll join the ship. I'll go door to door.
I'm not fearful. I'm not fearful.
Wow. Okay, it's freezing. Let's wait and see. So for those who don't know, I'm talking to Celina CAESAR-CHAVANNES. She used to be a member of parliament in the Liberal Parliament until she left. Okay, that's invite. Okay, she's going to come out and rejoin. She froze a little bit. But she is a very, very powerful, and as you can listen to her, super intelligent lady. This is her book. Thanks to Ninja for dinging. Celina, if you're there, you could just resend so I could make you join the live. That is the book that I think everybody needs to have. It's very important because this is a woman who was right there at the helm of politics. She is, I'm telling you, she is monumental, especially for blacks, especially for black women. She's just monumental in how she does it. She's so nonchalant, she's so chill, so relaxed. So I'm hoping that she rejoins the live before we get, there she is. There we go. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. It can't stop. There you go. The devil's a liar. They can't stop it. You see?
Man, I touched something and something happened.
No, don't watch that. Don't watch that.
So, wow.
Yeah, so you've been here, like, listen.
My kids are always like, okay, boomer. I'm like, I'm not that old. But then I do stuff like this, and it's like, oh, my God.
Listen, you have blessed us and graced us for an hour and a half. You know that, right? It's been an hour and a half.
Child.
Yeah, and I know you got family. And so that's why I'm letting you know. And I'm letting you know. That's why I'm saying I know I took over time, but it was too relaxing. It was too good. It was too, like, this for me was just such a great learning experience and understanding. And, you know, the book is what the main focus is, of course, for all of us in the world. And I think that no matter what race or color you are, this book is a must-have, no matter what. It's a must-have. And I mean, don't think because she's female, she's just talking to the female perspective. This is males. Everybody needs to read this book. I think we should put this book on the Guinness Book of Records sales. That's where I'd love this to go. So I'm going to top your top selling, and I'm going to go to the Guinness Book of Records. That's where this book should go. You know, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm wondering too, and I'm wondering if you were in America, I'm wondering if you would have just swooned past and elevated up to the top tier. And if this would have, you
know what? It's an interesting question. I think that Americans are, they move at a faster pace.
Yeah.
And, you know, my husband always says to me, babe, you know, don't worry. The world is always 2 years behind you.
Yeah.
Right. And I talk about something in 2018, they catch up in 2020. Right. And it's like, so you just gotta love where you are. But I do gotta go. But can I tell you my favorite part of the book?
Favorite part of the book.
So I'm just gonna read it to the people who are listening. And
this 100, is like of course.
In the acknowledgments. This is my favorite part of the book, and I want y'all to listen. To the people of Canada and beyond, your value is not determined by your title, and your leadership does not require a title. The power has always belonged to the people. It is time that the people realize their power. It is not enough to hear my voice. We need to hear you too. We need, I love my community. I will ride or die for our community. We need to step up now. This is our time. We can't just seize this moment. We need to capitalize on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Listen, I would like if you do decide, you know, to make that move, whatever. We won't say it, but well, if you decide, can you keep me involved? Can you get me involved some way, somehow, so I can help?
Honey, let me tell you something. After being a member of parliament, there's only one thing that you could do after that to top that job. You will hear about it.
Okay. Okay. Listen, I thank you.
That's you go for the king's seat.
There you go. Listen, I'm not going to say nothing anymore. Listen, I thank you. I appreciate you. God bless you. And I hope God just keeps, you know, blessing you and elevating you to wherever you want to go, because I think wherever you want to go, you could go. I believe that truly still. And I really appreciate that.
I am going to take those blessings and I'm going to appreciate them with thank you for them.
Yeah,
and I'm going to return those blessings to you and to everybody who has been engaged in this conversation, those who jumped on and jumped off, those who are here now, those who read the book, those who didn't. Just blessings to you. Really keep safe out there, people. It is a messy, messy state. I'm on the City of Toronto Vaccination Task Force. I'm not pushing you to do anything, but really consider your health and make sure that you're keeping yourself safe. Okay?
Appreciate you, Celina. I appreciate you. Yeah?
All right.
You'll hear from me. You'll hear from me, definitely.
For sure.
All right.
Bye, all. Have a good night. Love you.
Bye-bye.